All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this TEIS extended option presentation for families. My name is Carly Carlton. I'm a public information officer at the Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, and I help our TEIS program communicate some of our major initiatives and all things TEIS. Here with me today, I do have TEI's leadership with us, and so they will be assisting in answering questions after we get through the presentation. We are recording this presentation, and the presentation and slides will be available on our TEIS Extended Option webpage. I'm going to go ahead and all right, so as I mentioned, we are going to be doing an overview of the TEIS Extended Option. If you joined us last year for our TEIS Extended Option presentation, a lot of this will look familiar to you because not too much is changing with this extension to 5 from the family perspective. So what we're going to go over today is a quick review of TEIS Now, what the TEIS Extended Option is and what it means for your family, what your family's choices are, eligibility, the difference between an IFSP and IEP, and the transition support. So as of right now, in October 2022, DIDD implemented an additional option for families after their child turns 3 called the TEIS Extended Option. And prior to this, TEIS only offered services to children up until their 3rd birthday, and then the child would be evaluated for Part B services within the school system, and they would either transition to the school or to other services outside of DIDD or TEIS. And then in April 2023, Governor Lee and the Tennessee legislature proposed expanding early intervention services to the start of school following the child's 5th birthday. And this is really going to maximize the opportunity and choice for families. So what is the TEIS Extended Option? This allows current families to continue receiving TEIS services beyond age 3 if their child is determined eligible for special education services in the local school district. Throughout this presentation, we will be referring to these as special education services in the local school district, but you also might sometimes hear it called IDEA Part B or just Part B. And then the TEIS Extended Option gives families an additional choice to consider as they help their child develop and prepare for school. So when it comes to eligibility, for the TEIS Extended Option, the child must have a current individualized family service plan through TEIS. So this means that your child is actively enrolled. They would also need to be determined eligible for school district special education services by the local education agency. To be eligible for school district special education services, a child must be over the age of 3 and then be determined eligible for school district special education services, again, by the local school district. So the local school district is the one who does the evaluation for the child to see if they are eligible for Part B special education services. And if they are eligible, a child would have a few choices, or a family would have a few choices. If a child is eligible for school district special education services, the family can choose either an individualized family service plan through TEIS or individualized education program through the local school district. So prior to a child turning 3, your IFSP team will be helping you plan for transition, and the service coordinator will support you through this process. If your child is not eligible for school district special education services, your service coordinator will provide you with other resources within your community and additional options. So if a child is found eligible, a family will have the following options. They can either choose the TEIS extended option, choose the special education services within the local schools district, or choose to end all services. So what are a family's choices? We're going to start with the TEIS extended option. If your child is eligible for school district special education services, your family can continue to choose with TEIS services up to the start of the school year following the child's 5th birthday. These services would continue to be provided through an IFSP, and all the services your child receives today may continue. A goal that addresses literacy and numeracy will be added, and if it's not already on the IFSP, and your family can choose to transition to the school district at any time during the TEIS extended option. And these are all the same as like how we extended to 4. So none of this is really changing other than that your child can continue with the TEIS extended option until the child's 5th birthday. So the second option is the school district special education services. So you can choose to transition your child to these services within the local school district when your child turns 3. These are provided through an individualized education program or IEP. And once you choose for your child to transition from TEIS to the local school district, you cannot return to TEIS. So to help walk things through the pathway of TEIS, we did create this TEIS pathway resource, and it walks you through from that TEIS referral all the way down through the TEIS extended option. So next, we're going to talk about the differences between an IFSP and an IEP. So an IFSP is an individualized family service plan. This is a written plan for providing early intervention services to eligible children and their family. The IFSP focuses on your child and family within the daily routines, and typically the services are provided within the home or in the community, and again, the child's daily natural routines. An IEP is an individualized education program. So this is a plan that is written for providing special education and related services to a student with a disability. It focuses primarily on the child's access and participation in educational activities in the least restrictive environment. So that you can make an informed decision about what is best for your child, you will have transition support. Transition support will be in the form of your IFSP team, transition planning conference. You will have an eligibility and age 3 TEIS extended option decision meeting, which is also referred to as the decision meeting. And then you'll also have a family notification document. And we're going to talk about all of these aspects of transition support. So starting with an IFSP team, your child's IFSP team will answer questions so that you can decide what is best for your child. You will be should be very familiar with your IFSP team, but this team includes you, your TEIS service coordinator, providers such as your child's early interventionist or other therapist, and then anyone else you would like to invite to participate in the meetings who can really help provide you with that information about your child so that you can make the best decision for them. So next we have the TEIS extended option family notification document. So your TEIS service coordinator will be reviewing this document with you throughout your time in TEIS. So you'll see this document at your initial IFSP meeting, 6-month reviews, annual IFSP meetings, transition planning conference, and then also at that decision meeting. And this document is also available on our website for families to access at any time. The other piece of transition support would be the transition planning conference. So this is a conference. This conference and the transition support will occur as it does now for all children. The transition planning conference occurs before the child's third birthday, so it can be anywhere from 9 months to 90 days before that third birthday. And the TEIS service coordinator will guide you through this process. A representative from your local school district will attend this meeting. Families can also choose other people they would like to attend. Your child will not be eligible for the TEIS extended option if you decline this transition planning conference with the local school district. So you must attend this transition planning conference. So after the transition planning conference, your school district will tell you and TEIS if your child is eligible for special education services at the eligibility meeting. Then, if your child is eligible, TEIS will schedule other support meetings, also known as the decision meeting. And we're going to talk about a little bit more about this on the next slide. So the age 3 TEIS extended option decision meeting, or the decision meeting, TEIS will review the extended option family notification document. TEIS will present the extended option decision form and the choices outlined, which will include TEIS extended option, the school district, or choose to end all services. Ideally, you will meet with the LEA and TEIS for this meeting, but the LEA may hold a separate meeting with you first to discuss that Part B eligibility, and then TEIS may meet with you afterward to talk about the decision meeting. So as with the extension to 4, you have 10 days following the age 3 TEIS extended option decision meeting to decide. But you will be talking with your child's IFSP team from the beginning of services about transition and your options. So by the time you reach that decision meeting, you should have a pretty good idea of what will be the best fit for your child. If you do not decide within 10 days, your child will exit TEIS and be unable to return. So as with the extension to 4, we do have quite a few resources that we have gone ahead and updated just so families can have that extra support as they hear about the TEIS extended option and maybe are making those decisions. So we have frequently asked questions on our page. We have a TEIS extended option 1-pager. And again, we have that family notification document along with the pathways 1-pager. And like I mentioned before, we will have these slides and the recording of this presentation available on that webpage as well as soon as we wrap up here. So that wraps up the overview and presentation for the TEIS extended option. So we can move on to questions. Hey, and I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. So we can also, and we just got one. All right, this might have been answered prior to this, but for a child who has been in the TEIS extended option for a long time, how should we handle the transition when the parents don't remember all options available to them as they transition out? I'm gonna send this over to Amanda Schaefer.
So the IFSP team will continue to support the family with updated information and loop in the LEA for those conversations as well. There's not an additional formal required transition meeting that occurs when a family exits the extended option. However, the LEA representatives and the IFSP team will work together to make sure the parent is up to speed on any needed information. So TEIS doesn't go away. And just because there's not that required TPC that happens at age 3 does not mean we won't be there to make sure families have up-to-date information. So we'll be there to help get whatever current information is needed at the time.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. And then if we also have people on the phone who have questions, feel free to unmute as well. Okay, we had a follow-up question. When you say transition out, are they wanting to shift to school system services now or close the chart?
I think that question was about transitioning to the LEA, but if it was about closing the file, the same answer applies. The IFSP team would help support the family, the service coordinator specifically, with whatever information is needed.
Oh, thank you. I will give it just a minute for any other questions in case anyone is typing in the chat. And again, if anybody wants to unmute, you can do that as well if you do not have access to the chat.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I have a question. Just going over that slide, you said the child will not be eligible for the TEIS extended option if you decline a transition planning conference with your local school district. What if I had a very unpleasant experience at my child's when he turned 3 transition planning conference? Is there no other option aside from meeting with the local school district?
So we can help you navigate that situation, but at the end of the day, what it boils down to is if you don't want to engage with the school system, there's not really an avenue to proceed with the TEIS extended option because you have to be determined Part B eligible by that school system in order to be eligible for the extended option. So if we can help if we can help with that relationship in any way or to get that eligibility determined through the school system in a way that's more comfortable for you, we will absolutely do that. But if a family is saying to us, I don't want the school system to know anything about me, I do not release my information to them or my child's information, then they cannot proceed with the extended option. So if it's just help navigating the interactions, we can support that. If a family doesn't want to engage with them at all, there's nothing we can do.
Okay, thank you. And who do I reach out for, a smooth transitional interaction, I would say? Because that was
Well,
my.
I think your first stop is your service coordinator, and if that's not working out for you, the district administrator and your TEIS district can help as well. And then we have our contacts on the LEA side that we can kind of bring everybody together and talk it through. And we would want to talk to you about what the situation is and what would make it more comfortable for you so we could facilitate that. But your first stop is always your service coordinator. And if that's not comfortable for you, then the district administrator at your TEIS office.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Andrea. That was a great question and a good reminder that we're all kind of teaming here. And so if you have any issues along the way or any questions, your TEIS service coordinator and that district office is really going to be a great support for you. Any other questions? All right. Well, that wraps up our presentation for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. And again, we are all available. We are available if you have any other follow-up questions, but we just encourage you to start with your service coordinator and DA in your offices. But again, our contact information is available on our website if you need any other extra support for our leadership, as well as my contact information. So thank you all very much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you soon.